everyone. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Muse by Mariah, the podcast. I have a special guest today. We're going to get into some fun topics like numerology, which I've never discussed ever on my website or on any episodes yet, and a little bit of soul hacking. So I have Dwight here. If you can give a quick little brief background about yourself, Dwight, what you do, how you got into this line of work, and any other information about yourself, we would love to hear it before we dive into all these fun topics.
All right. Thank you, Mariah. What do I do? That's a pretty wide open question. I refer to myself as a transformational coach. I'm a master healer. I've trained in various modalities. I've created even my own healing modality. But what that really means is now I'm intuitively guided. I can tell if a person has blocks, limitations, or beliefs, whether it's conscious or in the subconscious, and then the energetic, emotional, or even spiritual aspects.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm helping people with really the full spectrum, a holistic approach of self mastery. So, whatever it is that's holding you back, or if you're focused on growth, what are your opportunities and how to maximize that? That's how I help my clients.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also an author. I've written books on healing, and my last book is The Formula for Lasting Happiness. So, it's
Awesome.
really about unlearning all the bullshit beliefs we've been programmed with. Because if you go back to when you were like 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
most of us were happy.
Right.
You know, you were just being Mariah. You were doing your thing. You were being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you had parents that were really pushing you to be perfect and to fit
Mm-hmm.
in at that time. That does start at a certain point, right?
Right.
And then we wind up not being ourselves and living someone else's life. There's just all kinds of complexities that come in, and I help people decode that.
Awesome. I love that. And before I even ask how you got into numerology, for people who are listening and they have absolutely no idea what that means, can you give like a dumbed down definition of what numerology is and how it kind of connects to the whole mind, body, soul thing?
All right, that's a beautiful question. First of all, numerology is thousands of years old. I'm trained in a methodology that goes back to Pythagoras in ancient Greece, but a lot of people are familiar with astrology, right? Based on the date you were born and your sign and where all the planets and everything
Mm-hmm.
is, right? That's complex because things are always moving
Mm-hmm.
and all the houses and everything. Numerology is very simple. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. And there's only 9 vibrations, 1 through 9. So basically add up your birthday, for example, or even the date if it's multiple digits, and we just reduce everything to 1.
Okay.
There are certain master numbers that are more meaningful, and you can tell so much about a person, about what they came in for. And everything I do is really catered towards healing or empowerment. So I'm not going to tell you you came here to be the Queen of England.
Right.
I'm going to tell you the lessons you came to learn,
Mm-hmm.
the emotions and experiences, which are really tied to the vibrations that you need to master. And then each of the 9 vibrations maps to a different chakra or energy center or part of the body. So if you're challenged in certain vibrations, you're more likely to have health issues in that part of your body, for example.
Mm-hmm. So do you base this off of just the birth date alone, or are there other numbers that you kind of tie in?
The birth date is 50 or 60% of it,
Okay.
and it's the month, day, and the full year. I
Okay.
also do your name because you start with the alphabet, English alphabet, like A is 1, B is 2, and
Mm-hmm.
right, you just number through 9, and then J is 1 again, and you go through 9. So any word in the English language you can do numerology on and
Okay.
assign a vibration to. Okay.
Interesting.
And some people don't realize, like, a lot of times historically in our society, the woman changed her name when she got married. And the vibration of your name affects your communication vibration. So people may say, I don't get it. We communicated great and then we got married and
Uh-huh.
everything changed.
Oh
Well, it
my
may
God,
be
interesting.
because she changed her name.
Interesting. So if I were to give you my birth date right now, could you like do a little bit of a rundown on it and like what it means if we were to add it up? So
Absolutely.
so my birthday is March 28th, 1999. So 03281999.
All right. So the month is three. That's easy. You're 28. That adds to 10. And those two digits add up to one. Okay.
Okay.
So again, in numerology, we reduce everything.
Okay.
And then 1999 adds to 28, which is another 10. 2 and 8 make 10, and the 1 and 0 make another 1. So you've got two tens in your chart, which is interesting. And then your whole birthday basically adds to 5. The
Okay.
3 plus the 1 plus the 1. Okay. And there's different ways to break down everything. Everything has meaning. But if I start with the 5, that's called your destiny number or your life path. Okay.
Okay.
And fives are adventurous. Fives is about freedom, growth, and expansion.
Mhm.
So you're an old soul. You're usually very open. You like to try new things. You like to do new things. You like to travel. Okay.
Right.
When you
Yep,
get
that
to
is
the
spot on.
Yeah, and we did not rehearse this, by the way.
No,
This is
not at
all
all.
real
It's
time.
spot on.
Yeah. And the lessons of the five deal with balance, or what I'll say finding the middle path. Because a five tends to go way up and way down, way up and
Mhm.
way down. They overindulge or underindulge. They may overshop or undershop. They may overeat or undereat.
Mhm.
It can be oversex or undersex. The five can be prone to addictions that way.
Okay.
And I like to say, like, if you're dating a five, you might come home one day and all your stuff is on the lawn and, you know, just been
Yeah.
tossed out. You're like, what
Uh-huh.
happened?
Uh-huh. Oh my god. So and you said that so based in numerology, this is never gonna change. Like I will be a 5 forever and ever and ever.
This is your destiny. This is the vibration you came in to really master, okay, above all others, which means you're going to have challenges
Mhm.
with that. So it's like I described with the challenges. Once you get the aha, this is what I need to work on, then when you develop that, um, you can really become powerful. When you get on the positive aspect of each vibration,
Right.
that's when you get into what I call your soul power. You're aligned with your soul, you're mastered what you came in here for, and
Mhm.
all your energy is flowing like it's supposed to with those
Interesting.
vibrations.
Interesting. I've never looked at I'm a very big astrology girl. Like I read my chart all the time. I'm an Aries sun and I'm a Virgo moon and rising. I'll check up on my astrology tidbits of the day every single day. I ask other people what their chart is, but I've never gone into my like life path based on my birthday. I never really understood the concept. I've seen like posts on social media. I've read a few articles, but it just I don't know, I just didn't grasp it, but I think speaking with you about it and hearing the way that you explain it, it makes sense, and the fact that you said the description of what a 5 is, it's, like, literally right up my alley. I'm traveling all the time. I'm always wanting to try something new, like, that is me to a T.
That's the perfect five. Are you familiar with chakras then? It sounds like you would be.
Yes, I was actually speaking with someone the other day. I've never had like I know a lot of Reikis, they do like the connection with your chakras to try to balance them out if they're blocked. I've never gone deep into it, but I've read about it. I've read a couple books about your chakras, how you can connect it with certain exercises, certain meditations and crystals. But I feel like my knowledge is it's kind of a basic level of it. I haven't really dived deep into it yet.
Okay. I asked because the five is the sacral chakra, so belly
Okay.
button and sacral.
Okay.
And it's interesting because your two 10 ones, your day and your year, the one is about independence. So a lot of
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, the lessons are around confidence and really being in your power.
Mhm.
Okay. And for me, the sacral is a huge power center. In the Eastern traditions, it's the lower dantian.
Mhm.
It's a little different than the chakras philosophy, but it's all about being in your power. It's about self love. It's not about pleasing everyone else.
Mhm.
Okay. So your five kind of ties into your 10 ones. And when you have a 10, multiples of 10 and 11s in my system, they're master numbers. So it means you didn't come in for a high school diploma, you came in for your PhD.
Mhm. Yep, that's
Like the
right. That is
old
me.
souls, yeah, old souls, when they come in to take care of everything and really learn and master things that you're tired of doing the same shit
Mhm.
over and over again, right?
Mhm.
So you load everything on your plate and you come in here. So it's the older souls, they tend to have the rougher experiences early
Mhm.
on.
Oh my god, that is like awesome. Thank you for breaking that down, especially obviously the entrepreneurship is also right up my alley. But I definitely have to look more in depth in it and start seeing. I know you mentioned there's some negatives, and you really focus on them and try to. I feel like I'm really good now at noticing certain triggers or things that I need to work on or have worked on, and sometimes like those old habits will come out. But I've never looked at like I know that some of the cons of like being in Aries is impatience. And I try to work on that so much. Like if I notice myself being impatient, I'll be like, let's chill out a little bit. Let's try to calm down. But I've never looked at my life path number to see what those cons are. So I got to add to that self-reflection list to
Okay.
just be
I'll
better.
just I'll just piggyback on what you said because this was profound when I experienced it for the first time. Like these Zen monks, like they literally don't experience anger, for example, because
Hmm.
it's not in their field. They can have all of these things going around on around them that might make everyone else angry, but they are not even triggered to be angry, right?
Hmm.
So if you had anger as a lesson, for example, it's in your field. And that's how I think you attract it. The universe knows
Right.
that you haven't resolved anger because you still have some in your field.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be triggered. And
Right.
once you've really released that energy, you break the pattern, and then you literally won't experience anger anymore.
Yeah, I need that.
That's
I
when
need to
like
harness
something
that energy.
happens. Yeah, something happens and it used to trigger you and it
Hmm.
doesn't. And you can talk about it like you're talking about the weather
Like
yesterday.
nothing. Yeah.
No big.
I I've done that before, but I need to be better at having it be like, a 95% of the time ratio instead of like a 60 or 70. But thank you again for breaking that down. And I know we have an upcoming date that is significant in the numerology world, which is January 26th. Why is the 26th so significant?
That's a great question. And the answer is because it's a day with three eights. Okay. So you have January, which is a one, the 26 makes eight, and the year is eight.
Hmm.
Okay. And then if I add the one, eight, and eight together, that's 17, which is the third eight. So
Okay.
the overall day is an eight vibration, 8 year and an 8 day. So anytime you have a triple, that's a huge energetic date. Like this year in August, because the year and the month are eight,
Hmm.
you'll have some days that are eights. As those are going to be rock star dates as well. But these days in January are the biggest dates until August.
Okay.
So the eight, if you think of August in astrology, it's the Leo,
Hmm.
right? So it's big for leadership energy. It's a very power centered vibration. It's solar plexus. It's about being that leader, being in your power. It's great for manifesting.
Okay.
It's great for abundance. Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
So the 26th, the energy will be with you for doing those kinds of activities,
On that day.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. What date is that? Let me see what that fall. Oh, on a Friday. Perfect. Make sure I make a note to put that in my calendar, manifest. So for this date, for example, I know the new moon is great for manifesting. And on a full moon, you shouldn't manifest, you should let things go. And vice versa. On a new moon, you shouldn't let things go, you should manifest. So should you just be manifesting on these certain days? Or can you, like, is there certain rituals that you recommend to do either before or it has to be on the date to really reap the benefits of what this is in the universe?
That's a beautiful question. I like to talk about energy like a river, okay? So if the river is flowing with eight energy, you
Hmm.
want to go with the eight energy, right? If you're trying to do different types of activities on an 8 day, you're really swimming against the
It's too
current.
much. Gotcha. Hmm.
Okay. It's true with your own vibrations you're trying to master. Just go with the energy, go with the flow. That's when you're in your
Hmm.
power, that's when you're in alignment.
Are there certain, like you just read my life path number based off of my birthday. Are there certain life path numbers that connect more with these dates than
Well,
others?
yeah, it's interesting. You say connect more. We all have vibrations that we're naturally strong with, which
Okay.
means we don't have challenges with them, or we've mastered those lessons and now we've got it.
Hmm.
So if you hadn't really done your inner work and you have an eight vibration, that's going to be a challenging day for you because it's going to push
Okay.
all your buttons. Okay.
Gotcha. Because I was comparing it to, for example, when like a full moon happens, full moon is in a certain sign. So normally certain signs are more affected by it than other signs. So I wasn't sure if it was different for numerology, but basically, are there ways that we should be manifesting? Like, do you recommend journaling? Do you recommend meditating? Like, what is the best, I guess, 126 ritual that because I'm going to do it, and the listeners can do on that day to really manifest the abundance of what it represents?
All right. For me, I teach my clients to be in the heart, number one, because the head is everything negative comes from the head. When you're connected with the divine, you're
Hmm.
in your divine power, right? When you're here, you're disconnected. Okay. So whether you meditate or whatever you do or be in nature, ideally you're feeling positive emotions in your heart space whenever you're trying to create or manifest. Okay. Like whenever I talk or whenever I write, I always connect with my heart and I literally try and be here all the time. It's hard
Hmm.
in this world to be there all the
Hmm.
time, but the subconscious works with images, so I'm big
Okay.
on visualizing. So if you're meditating, you can visualize. Vision boards are great because
Hmm.
again, it's visualizing, but I want you to feel it. You know, thinking is just thinking. If you think about like someone who's in her heart and emotions, right? I like to use the example like a mom can lift the car off their child,
Right.
right? The power of emotions is so amazing. And Um, at a point in my life, my energy shifted and I feel energy come out my heart. Okay. That's
Hmm.
when my healing went to a new level. So be in your heart, visualize it, and feel it.
Love that. And do you do that with every date that comes up? Is it around like the same routine, or do you kind of tweak it depending on how significant the day is and what it represents?
It's really up to what your goals are and what you're working on, right?
Okay.
For beginners just starting to play with it, like every day adds up to a 1 through 9.
Right.
So if you start to pay attention, you'll notice patterns. You'll be like, Man, today sucked. What's today's
Mhm.
vibration? Like today is what? 1, 2,
Yeah, is
8.
it a
Today's
bad
a 2.
vibration day? Because it was a shitty day for me this morning.
Well, it's interesting because it adds to 11, and you've got your 2 10 ones, and it's a 2 day. And the 1 and 2 go hand in hand
Uh-huh.
because the 2 can be overly sensitive, and 2 is about relationships. So if someone's learning about
Stop.
confidence and being
That's
in
why
their
my day
power.
was so shitty. That's crazy.
And it's an 11, which is, again, multiples of 10 and 11 are
Uh-huh.
more powerful. So today was a PhD in the vibration 11, which is the
Oh
one and two.
my
Okay.
goodness. That's crazy. I'm gonna blame it on numerology today. That's why my day was so shitty. Now it makes sense.
So like 9 days from now, you'll have another 2 day,
Okay.
right? So you can, if you start to pay attention, today was great. What's the vibration of
Uh-huh.
today? You're like, ooh, I like vibration 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of tells
Interesting.
you that you don't have a lot of resistance with that vibration, that you're in the flow.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's so interesting. Now, I know you kind of, I feel like you curated this term soul hacking because I've never seen it before. And I would love to get into that and see how we can kind of connect because obviously everything is spiritual. Numerology is part of the universe in a spiritual realm, spiritual journey. But what is your definition of soul hacking?
And I did coin it. When I thought of it, I was at a Mind Valley conference, and this guy was talking. He was a biohacker, right? About how to help health hacking, like how to stay young and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working on my business, and I'm like, I might be a soul hacker, right? And I Googled it.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing out there that was a soul hacker was a sword in a video game. So I'm like,
Uh-huh.
that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
But what is it? In my advanced program, and people have done deep inner work, or spiritual people may understand this, but you literally partner with your soul, okay? And we invite every version of you, past, present, future.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times in the healing world, they they have a perception that there's layers that you go through, like peeling an onion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we have every version of you there, we're healing all the layers simultaneously. Okay. Because your soul, you've come here on behalf of, they're tired of you being stuck. They're
Mm-hmm.
tired of you repeating your lessons over and over again and not
Yep.
getting it.
Yep.
And we've all done this lifetime after lifetime, not just this lifetime. So we're so disconnected. So, what better partner than your soul to go to clear all your resistance so you can just rock the rest of this life?
Mm-hmm. And how do you go about doing this? Like it's such a vast outlook on it to like peel back layer by layer, but like where do you even begin?